host of the Gridiron.
Now, hopefully, right, we can get some help from Mr. Snee here. Mr. Snee is helping the Giants with the offensive line, right? One thing that the Giants certainly need is, Leonard. Well, that's the dude from, is that the guy from Notre Dame? I mean, he's supposed to be a later round pick. That's for sure. Yeah. But the one thing we need, obviously, is definitely help with the offensive line. Hopefully, Snee can help out. I mean, he did win 2 Super Bowls, so let's see. Here we go. State of the Giants' offensive line and how Chris Snee is helping it. Though the first 6 games of last season, Joe Schoen thought the offensive line performed well enough for the Giants to play winning football. And, 2 of our 3 wins were in those first 6 games. Obviously, did we look like a Super Bowl contender? No. But then we went on a 10-game losing streak, kind of knocked us out of the playoffs, right? But, 2 of our 3 wins were in those first 5-6 games of the season, right? And that just happened also, right, when the Giants' offensive line was healthy and they were all playing together. And then once Andrew Thomas got injured, the wheels fell off the bus. So the Giants' offensive line looked good for the first 6 weeks. Unfortunately, there were 12 weeks after that for a grand total of 18 weeks in the season. That's when left tackle Andrew Thomas went down with a season-ending foot injury, restarting a game of musical chairs that no one wanted to play again after the starting 5 had played 100% of the snaps together to that point, which was huge, right? Giants used 10 different combinations the rest of the way, tying them with the Patriots for the most in the NFL and their 2023 total as well, too. I mean, that's just a recipe for this disaster. Greg Van Roten, who was said to become an unrestricted free agent, was the only player on the team to line up for every snap on his respective side of the ball. The veteran made 15 starts at right guard and the last 2 at center. All after signing 1 week into training camp. Obviously, 4 starters are coming back, Shane said Tuesday morning at the NFL Scouting Combine. The good thing about this time of year is just going through other free agents on other teams, and I always watch them against us. I went back and watched a lot of our games the last few weeks to take the emotion out of it. Monday after a game or any of that stuff, and I'll say early on in those first 6 games, the line played good enough for us to play winning football. GVR is the one up. I think Jermaine Illuminor played good at right tackle. The roster may look different in 2 weeks. Right guard is a spot that's open. So we're going to talk about that a little bit down our program there. And we'll talk about, is the answer somebody on the roster, or do we need to look outside for the roster, for the guard? Who better to assess that position, guard position, right, than Chris Snee, right? The Ring of Honor inductee started 152 games at right guard, including 2 Super Bowls, and returned to the organization last May as a senior scout just in time to be voted to the top 100 players in Giants history. Chris has been awesome, Shane said. He's been a really good addition. He sits in some of the meetings. He understands the continuity of the group, what it looks like. They had a good O-line when he was here and won a lot of games. We have him going around the country looking at offensive linemen. He'll go to pro days, O-line, D-line. He's going to do both, and then we'll continue to develop him into the other positions. He sat in all the meetings, draft and free agency. He's put in a lot of work. Shane added, he has a unique perspective on it, having played offensive line at a high level on some really good teams. He's been a tremendous resource for us, and I think we'll see dividends from it. Shane believes the Giants have the cap space and draft capital to improve their roster which will look different in 2 weeks when the new league year begins. They will then assess their options before players report for the off-season workout program the week of the draft. One of those decisions will include possibly moving fourth-year pro and former 7th overall pick Evan Neal from tackle to guard. And we're going to talk about Evan Neal a little bit more in our program here, too. We'll talk about that, Shane said, once we get through free agency and we see where we are and what we have. We'll talk about how do we get our best 5 on the field. Well, the thing is, getting the best 5 on the field is also keeping the best 5 on the field. Oh, yeah. Here's, yes. Okay, yes, yeah. Ryan, Leonard. Rogers get Genty and Dart or Leonard or Howell. One of the guys, was it Howell? Who was the one guy? Was it Howell? I mean, at the combine, I mean, I seen something like on some of the Facebook groups. I mean, he was throwing some bad passes. Holy cow. I think it was him. I mean, he was like throwing like wide, overthrowing guys. I mean, whew, wow. I mean, that's one of the things, though, too, is that the combine is, trying to throw to guys that you don't know how they run routes, how fast they are, and all that stuff, and everything makes it a little bit difficult, though, too. So things, Chris Snee, hopefully, be a huge help for the Giants going forward with their offensive line. As I said, the thing is that, you got to stay healthy. That's one of the things that should absolutely just totally kill you. I mean, you can obviously have, a few, 3, 4, 5 or so, maybe offensive line, combinations and all, but, one guy after the other just starts getting injured. And unfortunately with Andrew Thomas being our best guy, right? He got injured the past 2 seasons. Ohio State quarterback just won the national championship game. Yeah, okay. With Andrew Thomas, I mean, you look at him, obviously the first game of 2023, I mean, he made it, the first drive of the season. Then he pulled his hamstring, right? Trying to run down the after the block punt. So is Andrew Thomas going to keep getting injured? I mean, we got to get guys in there that can actually. Sorry, I got to move my legs. We got to get guys in there who can stay healthy. So, but hopefully, if anybody can help us, at least spot some talent, it'd be Chris Snee, right?